Welcome to Nana's Journey. I'm Deanna, and today we're doing another skill builder or practice block, whatever you want to call it. And I have learned in doing these that I think my hardest skill that I need to work on is taking a picture of a block that I like and figuring out the measurements and how to put it together. Now this one's easy. Once you draw your grid, you can usually figure out, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's an 8-inch block. All my practice blocks will be 8-inch blocks. So I know that this is 1 by 2, this is 1 by 2, 2 by 2, 1 by 1. So this one was pretty easy to figure out. I've got one that was a little harder to figure out. There was a bunch of different things going on the inside of a flying geese, and I still got to figure that one out. But I've got the pieces cut out. I've got the 2 by 2. I've got the 3.5 inch pink and 4 2-inch green for the fast flying geese method. It'll make 4 at a time. And the same measurements for these flying geese. I've got the 1 by 2 rectangles. Now these are 1 by 2 finished, so I've got 1.5 by 2.5 inch rectangles. And these are 1-inch squares, so I've got 1.5 inch squares cut out. You have to, when you see a square, you add 1/2 inch to the finished so that you have your seam allowance. And then the center is 2 by 2. So let's start with the half square triangles. These are the ones I'm worried about. I cut 2-inch squares, and I'm going to do 2 at a time. I'm going to sew on these lines, cut it in half, and hopefully when I press this open, I will have a 1.5 inch square so that when I'm done, it will be a 1-inch square. So let's start with these, and then I'll just sew these while I'm over there at the same time. Okay, I've got my 4 sets here. When I'm done, I should have 8 squares, 8 half square triangles. Okay, I'm going to get these cut and pressed, and then I'll be right back. All right, well, we have those half square triangles done. Now let's work on our flying geese. And I've already got all my squares marked. 1/4 inch from the corner to corner. You can just draw a line and sew 1/4 inch on each side. You want to hold your tail threads so that the material doesn't get sucked down. Okay, I'm going to cut these in half along here, press them open, and I'll be right back. Okay, now we have our square heart. Okay, let me get them cut and pressed, and we'll have our flying geese, and we'll get them trimmed. Okay, the flying geese are all pressed. Now I just need to trim them. I'm using the wing clipper ruler by Studio 180 Design. All my fabric goes inside this rectangle, which is good. The seams are in the lines, and so I will just trim. Put the fabric in the lines there, put the point at the crosshatch. And I have a perfectly shaped flying geese. Okay, I'm going to trim the others and I'll be right back. Okay, I have the block all laid out. Now I just need to sew everything together into units and then into rows, and then put the rows together. And that's easily done. You just flip over, sew. Make sure you cross the intersection of the seams so that you save your point. It comes out nice. Then when you have your units put together, you put them into rows, and then put your rows together. And then we will be done, I think. So let me get those sewn together and I'll be right back. Okay, there we have it. The block is all finished. I only had to take apart a couple units because I had these half square triangles the wrong orientation. And that was actually the hardest part. The block is actually pretty easy, but you do want to work on your points and your pattern making, and I hope to see you for more, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.